My name is Kopec, and I'm doing the interview today with Lidia Krzynowek, who is co-founder of Polish Cultural Festival Association. Hi.
Hi.
I'd like to start from, I think, the basic question among the Polish migrants. Where you're from in Poland? Where exactly
Okay.
from?
The first question always, yes.
Yeah,
I
so-
come from Krakow in Poland, and I arrived here 13 years ago, more or less. Yes, 13 years now, and yeah.
Yeah. So, why did you came to Scotland, and why exactly to Scotland?
I traveled quite a lot before. I am a graduate from the Jagiellonian University in Social Geography. So every geographer's dream is go and travel the world. Unfortunately, Poland at that time didn't allow you to earn money to travel the world. But I have got some few scholarships. So I lived in Dublin before. I lived in Holland before. And then when I finished university, my friend, which I met in Holland, contacted me, and she said, I'm in Edinburgh, I'm bored. My boyfriend left for 5 weeks. I'm afraid to live alone in my house. Please come to see Edinburgh. Maybe you like it. So I just packed and I went to see her. And I arrived here. I thought, okay, much better than Dublin. Quite nice, I enjoy it. And you definitely can make enough money to travel the world here. Because there was at this point, 12 years ago, there was jobs everywhere, It was so much empty positions. So that's why I left. I didn't really want to stay in Poland because I thought I have seen Poland. I'm bored with Poland. We suddenly got this, possibility to travel with joining the EU. It was before joining the EU, but we got the possibility to travel, and I wanted to use it.
All right. So, did you move then right after this stay with your friends?
Yeah,
or you
yeah,
just
so-
came with your
yeah.
friends and you stayed?
No,
Right.
I moved. I moved here, and then after a few weeks, I decided, okay, I think it's a good country to live in for a while, and I got a job quite fast in a hotel as an assistant manager, which was bizarre since I can't spell very well. So it was the only thing you have to do in this kind of a job is to pick up the phone, spell the name right, and so on. But I think my personality came through, and I got this job, so it was quite comfortable. And then we had this agreement with my best friend from university that once I find a good country to live, she will join me. So we basically, before she managed to join me, my brother, who at that point lived in London, decided why not to move to Edinburgh, it's cheaper. So suddenly we had 7 people, and so we found a flat just 3 doors down from my friend, which I originally lived with. And we created something what was called at this time in the street a little Poland, because just
Right.
all of us were 8 Polish people living in this colony flat, which was quite it was quite
Where
fun.
it was exactly? It was in some
Bell
kind of Polish.
Place.
What?
No, it's a Stockbridge colonies. So my
Oh.
friend lived in Stockbridge colonies, and then somehow the house 3 doors down was for rent, and then but the neighbors, they called us, and they called this house a little Poland, because there was the only migrant family group at the street, and we organized barbecues for all of they all were coming, obviously Polish socials. Who can resist? My cousin was a very good chef, so it was a very nice time. Yeah.
So everything sounds quite easy and quick, right?
I think mainly because I already had an experience in migrating. I've been in Holland as a student, then I've been in Dublin as not a student for a year, and that was much more difficult migration because it was in a point illegal migration. Yes, it was before the European Union, so I was a tourist, and then you were scared of everything, and you were looking through your shoulder all the time. And I don't know, it was much tougher. So I had the tough migration time behind me. So for me, Scotland was very easy. And then I had lots of friends here quite easily. I make friends easily. So I got lots of people who I knew, both Polish, Scottish, German, Spanish, from all over the place. And I was 20, 24. So at 24, everyone is happy, yeah.
Yeah. So you said that basically when you organised the kind of barbecues, right? So all the
Yeah.
neighbourhoods was
Yeah.
joining, right? The Scottish people. So
colonies are quite special. I think the community there is tighter because people, if you get yourself a flat in colonies, in Stockbridge or any colonies for this, you don't let it go because it's very valuable property. So the people who lived there at the street, except us and Tinka and Will, which was our friends, were settled there for a long time now. So they already knew each other. So the only thing they had to do is like to allow us, invite them to our garden in a sense, you know. And they also made barbecues, and we also say hi to them, and so there was quite a friendly street, literally, you know.
Oh, right. And was it that exception, or at that time, how would you describe basically the kind of Scottish people attitude towards like the Polish people? Because that was basically the beginning, right, of the Polish people coming to.
I don't know. I think you get what you give, you know. So I didn't come here thinking that Scots are evil and bad and I'm something different. I was very eager to integrate, not integrate, but just to make friends, open for it, and you get what you give, you know. Of course there will always be some people who will tell stupid things to you or treat you in a certain way, but I was very lucky. At my work I had a really nice Scottish bosses who treated us with respect. Half of the staff was Polish, so they had no choice to treat us with respect, but nevertheless I was the translator between the two worlds in a sense. Then I had Tinka, and she introduced me to her Scottish friends, and she built these friendships for years. So they were nice, selected people, I think. But I know that number of people did not have this joyful experience in a sense. But at this point, because there was not so many of us yet here, I think the attitude was slightly different. It was more curiosity. We were more exotic. Now we are not exotic anymore, but a curiosity about us. They didn't put us in boxes, and they didn't. Of course, there were always boxes, but not that much as now. So I think that was easier. Yeah, I think that. But I didn't experience any kind of racism or any kind of bad comments or anything like that. Yeah, so for me it was good.
And how did you find the Scottish culture? How it was easy for you just to, sink in this culture, or you maybe feel certain elements as kind of very difficult to get as for the Polish person?
I think me as a person is much closer to Spanish culture than to Scottish. For me, it comes in phases. I think, you know, at the beginning you mistake the politeness of Scots for the fact that they really like you, okay, or they're like really open. They are just polite, but the thickness between the polite and their real self, it's such a thick barrier that it takes years it literally takes years to get through. And it's like all the emails which I was getting in my job, they were all so polite. I was like, oh my goodness, these people, amazing. And then my Scottish friend read through some of the emails, some communication with one lady in particular. We were organizing an event today, and she was writing to me, and I thought these emails are really nice because she always put please and may and all of these things in there. Mine were very rude always, direct. And then my friend read through it and she said, oh my God, what a, why is she talking like this to you? What a bossy little cow, she's. I'm like, really? I never got it. I never got it. So I was kind of, my ignorance was sheltering me from the bad experiences, I think. And now I know that it's different. I don't know, it's much easier with people with your culture or Spanish culture, which are quite open, take you and embrace you immediately. And with Scottish people, you really need to build. But there are two different types of Scottishness as well. The nice one, which are people who are very respectful to others. And the reason they don't, then, they give you lots of space. I think they give you lots of space to be yourself. They give you lots of space to explain yourself, and, I talk a lot, so I like this space, yeah. And they also are very considerate. And if you need help, they will help you with no questions asked. And I found kind of gentlemanly, kind, nice people, but there are also Scottish people who are very ignorant, very rude, and very patronizing and arrogant, So if you want to avoid this one, you just make, sometimes you don't have a choice. You can't avoid this one, and they will talk to you down, and the blood will boil. And if I hear one more time, your English is really good with this patronizing tone, I just will. Your Polish is really bad, though, and you are going for holidays there. So you have the moments that the frustration of being asked the same question over and over again arises, and everyone will think, oh, she's really oversensitive. I don't think if you are asked this question over and over again, at some point you just say, sorry, I'm Scottish, okay? Can we just settle on that, No, the accent is, I play the accent, Sometimes you don't want to be different and so on. But as I said, I try to pick these people who are very kind, considerate and so on. And I think I needed to learn kindness, and I needed to learn respecting, because I'm quite direct and I am bossy, yes, and I always knows the best. And I think this country for last 10 years changed me, that I'm much more mild and I'm much more respectful. So I try to get the good things from Scots and kind of implement it in my behavior. So I smooth my Polishness a little bit, yeah.
Well, yeah, as well, now placed between the Polish and Scottish culture in a bit different way. So your mother of a small child, right, who's raised in Scotland, basically.
Oh, my child is a mix of everything. So I'm a mother of a child who is half Spanish, half Polish, born in England, well, in London, and are now thinking that he's Scottish. Yeah, so. Okay. He has a problem already. He's 5 and he already has a bit of a problem. He's got sports outfit for all of the clubs. So the Real Madrid, Polish club, and then he's wanted Scottish, so he got Scottish. Well, I don't even know what is the club he got, greeny thingy, yeah. Nevertheless, and when he supports the teams, or when he looked Olympics, and I was just very eager to tell him, look, the Polish guy is almost winning, and he said, yes, but the Spanish is second. Where is the Scottish? And I'm like, okay, well, thanks, why are you not enjoying? So I think he already have I don't know if he has an understanding that he's from 3 different cultures, but he's negotiating this, and I think that's going to be very interesting to see him, how he grows. My responsibility is to keep him Polish. His father's responsibility is to keep him Spanish, and the rest is up to the Scotland here.
But is it quite difficult to basically lend him this Polishness, or keep him Polish? So how do you find this?
I think it's difficult because you have to drive him to millions of classes, Spanish class on Saturday, Polish class on Friday, and then he goes to school and his languages are mixed and he speaks 3 languages, but he has a preferred one. He mixes the words because, for example, there's much easier to say juice than sock or whatever, he mixes. I think it's not now. I think now he's listening to me. I'm the God, and I tell him what to do, so he knows what to do. He knows I want to read this book, it's in English. If you don't read anything in Spanish, mother, you're not good enough. So he plays with this. He's got Spanish friends, Polish friends. It definitely helps that the community in Lviv especially is very multicultural. So if you go to the nursery, for example, there are kids from all over the world, and actually very good at the teachers and nursery teachers are very open to diversity. They don't. It was very different before, which I know from the stories of the Martin Stepek, like for example, when Polish kids were not encouraged to speak Polish in the classrooms or anywhere, yeah. So, or not necessarily Polish. Here now they kind of mix languages in the playground, and they know that they are Spanish, Polish, dads, moms, and so on. So far good. We see what school is going to do to him. I think it's difficult. Yes, I think it adds that pressure on parents, but I think it's worth it. He would be so grateful to one day, well, not now, when he would be 37 probably, before he would just go through the period of I hate you, mother, why we are not like others, but when he gets over the whole teenage rage, I hope he will get to the point when he understands that he's privileged to be able to understand and live and negotiate between 3 cultures.
Is that your heritage, your let's say Polish identity, or like your view for the Polish identity change a bit? I mean,
Since I live here.
Since you live here and since you raised the child, so
Hugo.
you have to teach him this Polishness.
I don't know. I don't really think there is one identity. Like, oh, this is Polish, this is not Polish. You know, I think each of us is negotiating their Polishness in a very different way. So I'm my Polish, you are your Polish, and so on. They're very different. So for some people say, okay, I support Polish teams, I only speak Polish, and I go to church every Sunday, and me and my pals drink only Polish vodka. That's Polishness, yeah? Some people go to extremes with the whole patriotic, patriotic is good, but nationalism, which I really don't like in any form. So I don't know, but I think the heritage for me is like, I know where I stand. That's what I'm a little bit afraid for Hugo, for my son, is that I know where my roots are, you know. I was born in Poland, I was raised in Poland, I'm Polish. I don't only speak Polish, but understand Polish people, I think, less and less so in the country, yeah, in Poland, but more, but here definitely. And I know Polish movies, and I know Polish comedy. You know, I have lots of memories connected with Polish culture, Polish things, and he might not have it, but we will keep convincing him that he's Polish, you know. Why, if he only listens to English songs? Why, if he only knows, you know, pop culture from... But now I think the kids are very different. They have access to all sorts of media from all sorts of countries. So actually he can easily be constantly embedded in Poland or Spain, just living here if he wants to. But I don't know. I think heritage is great, but mixing it's even better. So I think a little bit, I'm Scottish a little bit. I changed so much since I came here. It's very unfair to me to say I'm only Polish, you know, actually. But Hugo will be totally mixed. And that's the interesting bit. It's my little experiment.
Yeah, so of course, apart from it's having a family, having a child, and working, you're as well doing a lot of things for the community, and you started it a long time ago, right?
I'm not really doing it for community. I'm doing it for myself. Yeah, I'm doing it for fun, and I'm doing this because, weirdly, maybe the first project we did in 2008, the Polish festival, was it was also for myself, you know. I wanted to prove to myself that I can do something like this. I was so scared, oh my god, you know. Seriously, I never done festival before. I never done a birthday party before, okay? So it was very scary. And but then through that I met lots of people who have done similar things, and they just needed to be organized so they can, and I do organizing very well. So and then we built a group of friends of 20 people who are friends, who went through organizing for a year of misery to organize this festival, which was quite good, and so on. So then it's kind of, is it a community? I will always lobby for the, you know, for my community. I will always be Polish. I will always say, you know, what is it? But it's not necessarily, I would probably do it for any other community if I saw that someone is being mistreated. It's like, I don't like the whole minority, not minority. It's like we all people at the end with just slightly different slant on life, you know. And if anybody is treating badly any community for this reason, I would probably be lobbying to stop that anyhow, you know. That's why I left Poland, because it's very popular there. So you couldn't, So I think it's difficult. That would be difficult there. But for me it's more, I built a community of Poles around me who are similar minded, and we have fun, and we want to show Poland in how we see it. Yeah, I think that was the importance, and there's for all of our projects we want to show Poland as we see it. So Poland who is modern, who is creative, who is entrepreneurial, Poland who has a beautiful culture, and you know, and it is a bit selfish as well. It's a bit arrogant, you know. Look at us Scottish people. We can do this beautiful posters. We can do this beautiful designed for children and so on. But I think you have to be a little bit arrogant when you are promoting some culture, you know, in a sense, because you need to believe it's really good. Yeah, otherwise can't convince anybody if you are not convinced. So yes, and then obviously now that I am a parent, the other aspects comes in, you know. It's like if I can do something for my child to feel a little bit Polish and be proud of his culture, I will do it, yeah, because you do everything for your children. Unfortunately, you don't have one yet, so you don't know. But I seriously, everything. So.
And how did it all started? How did that you came out from, you know, being a new migrant coming to Scotland, you know, trying to start life, through, you know, really person in the community who's doing lots of things. So how did it all started with the first festival?
Oh my
how
goodness!
Did you all came to idea?
It's always everything always starts in a pub, in my life. And it's always after more than 2 pints. And that's when the stupid ideas, because I'm so courageous at this point that whatever. So it's literally started like this because we went for at this point there was more and more Polish people coming to Scotland. 2008. Some of us were already more kind of settled. We had jobs, so we felt secure, but there was lots of potential which was completely not used. So people who organize concerts, people who run book festivals in Poland, suddenly here they can't struggle to communicate, therefore they do jobs like me, so they are in the hotels or they clean or so on. So it's completely useless, you know, and their brains are working and they're all educated and they just dying, you know, slow death pretty much. And then the consul at this point, Mr. Dietkov, recognized that there is this potential, but he obviously didn't want to do much about it in terms of he didn't have a capacity to run the community. So he organized this meeting in Travers Theatre and he just sent out the message to everybody Polish out there, and it wasn't Facebook at this point yet, so difficult. Come to this meeting. And I don't know what we were expecting. And he just sat down on this chair and he said, look, do something. Just do something. You know, do something because we need to show that we are a powerful community and we need to start producing something what is not just... They need to start viewing us differently than just the people who clean and serve food and, you know, how nice they are. And their English is so good now because they can say 5 things, you know. Mm-hmm. So they need to see something different about Poland. And then we went to the pub after that, and it was actually Aśka, Jarucha, so the core team. The people who I sat next to, basically, in one bench, yeah. And then we went to a pub, and I had 2 pints. And I said, why don't we do a festival? And everyone said, yay! And then Consul said, I give you £5,000. And I felt like so obliged that he gave me this £5,000 that I need to start something, that I did it. So I said, okay. And then we start, and I said, okay, you are good in this, you are good in this, you are good in this. Let's divide. Everyone needs to be a boss, in a sense. That was the whole point. So we had 5 different sections, 5 different bosses of the sections. They were supposed to organize this. Then there was me, I was doing fundraising. And originally it was supposed to be a Saturday, Sunday kind of showcase of Polish culture. I don't know, do you play guitar, you something, you know, simple. But it kind of changed it because everyone had so many ideas. I have a friend in Poland who has a band, Marian with his, I have soldiers in Poland, how the reenactment group. Yeah, I'm a reenactor. I would like to bring 5 or 7 companions, I don't know how you call it, like the group of people to reenact Grunwald. And I'm like, Marianne, of Lieblings, Grunwald on Lieblings. Yeah, let's do that, you know, it's definitely so. But there was an idea, so it started to grow. I started to fundraise and the money started to come in slowly. And it just changed into a really big event and everyone was amazing and they pulled through and I felt, oh my God, I seriously don't know how I'm doing it because I have no clue at the beginning, never. As I said, birthday party I haven't organized, so it was very scary, but because of that it was great as well. Yeah, so that's how we started, and then once you do something like that you can't go back because you already know, so you will keep going and you will keep organizing. We tried to close PCFA with Asia 5 times already, yeah, and it's like, no, it's done, we can't do it anymore. It's all voluntary work on top of the jobs that we do and so on. We tried to close it down 5 times, yeah.
Yeah, but you keep just doing.
Yeah, but we keep just doing
projects,
because
right?
people like Paula come to us like last year, and she says, "Look, I have this amazing Polish theaters and this amazing Polish illustrators of these books," and she shows us the books which are actually on the table there. And I'm like, "Oh shit, really?" And they can come here, and we can have them, and we can have amazing interactive exhibition, and we can do it if you help us. And then I'm like, okay, let's just keep it small though, keep it small. And now it's not small again. So I'm in the same place, and we get no money for it. And yeah. So the same story. But it's just fun. It's just amazing. And I know Hugo will go there and all his pals, and they will sit in this place, and they will be proud. Not of me, but they're proud of the fact that, well, they won't be proud. They will just show to their friends, look, I have this book at home. It's in Polish. It's the language I can speak. This one is similar. It's in English. We can read together in the same time. I don't know, something like that. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. And how do you feel now about your situation, basically, like let's say living situation in Scotland, right? You kind of
it's my home.
He's kind of, we might say, kind of, the woman of a success, right?
Living,
Well, you organise
okay.
many things. Yeah, you've got your
things.
own flats. Yeah, you've got the child, and then you've got. We're working for university now. We just now you freelance, right? So you're doing plenty of projects, etc.
I'm busy, yes, and I have more wrinkles. How I feel Scotland is my home. And actually it's quite interesting because after Brexit, after the beautiful vote that we all support, I stopped feeling like home. It was horrible. It was actually really devastating for me. And actually not only for me, for many people which I never thought. It was like you had a boyfriend and he just dumped you, basically. And it was exactly this. I remember I was dumped many times, so I can recognize the feeling, but it was exactly this same feeling of being dumped, like emotion, you deny it, you say, sorry for the expression, fuck him, I don't need him, I'm alone, I can manage, I moved to Poland, I leave everything, I have a flat in Krakow, I live there happily. So you just go through all of these emotions, so that was bad. But then I left for holidays this year, and it was a long holidays because I finished work at university, so I decided, okay, I need 2 months break. So it was 2 months break, and I went to Poland for 10 days, and then I went to Indonesia for a month, and then I went to Spain for another 10 days. And when I came back here, and I had all these experiences, these different cultures, different people, different settings, Poland, Spain, here, and I felt like, actually, this is my home, like, I can be myself here. This is one of the not many places where I can be myself. I don't have to explain. In Poland, I'm not anymore, it annoys me. People annoys me. They're in your face. They're grabbing you. They're squashing you. In Spain, they are so joyful and everything is about beauty and so on. And I feel like I always have to be the best of the best, and it's tiring. Even though it's warm and the food is great and so on. All of these countries have in Indonesia, again, a paradise with poverty next door, We don't have it here. There's no poverty next door. There is poor people, but there is no real poverty in here. I'm secure, you have opportunities. People that are not squashing you. You can be whoever you want. And I think Scotland is forgetting about it a bit. And it's very sad because there's the strongest points Scotland, UK in general has, tolerance, openness, allowing people to live their life and contribute as they want. And they are closing. And so that's why I felt dumped by a thing. But now I'm thinking, this is my home, I will fight for it, It's like, what can I do? They try to kick me out. Not really, I don't think so, So my son is my passport to freedom, He's British, So here we go. I say, I'm taking care of this British person here. Do you want your taxes in the future? This is your pension here, standing next to me, So, and that's the thing. So we continue, as they say. Nevertheless, she persisted.
And what you think about the future? So how do you see your future and the future of, let's say, the Polish migration here?
I think
which way it will evolve?
What way? I think, as you already know from the media or from the statistics, lots of people are coming back home. Lots of people. The people who are going back home are the people who already thought about going back home. So that actually the families, mainly families or academics as well. Because there's less and less opportunities. Most of the academics, I know this word well because I worked there for a long time, so I know for them is funding to do the research. most of this funding to this research comes from Europe. So they are not going to suddenly cut all their, great created consortia with other European countries, however promising, oh yeah, we will have it together, and still, if they get a job in Warsaw, if they get a job in Berlin, they go. Because they already move around. The academics, they're used to it. Polish families where they already made some money here and they decided, we both speak Polish, the house is there, we meant to go back there someday, why not to do now? So people are going back, so that's sad. The ones, but there is lots of them, people who just decided, like me, this is our home, we are staying here, so there's no, and it's like, 100,000, 80,000 in Scotland, I don't see these people emigrating massively, It's sad that there will be no new people coming, because what we will become is exactly the same as, the likes of Scottish Polish Cultural Association. So the people who came here after the war, or and then in the communist time, they created a group, and there was no new blood coming for 20 years. Yeah, and we will have the same gap. We are here, and we are getting older, and if our children, and we still have to wait for our children to start acting, so it's 10 years waiting for our children to be able to be any type of participation. So we have 20 years ahead of us that we need to still, I will be Mrs. Isabella, I will be 60, and I will still need to be, Poland, we need to be strong, because that's only then when they can take over. And if they close the borders, and if they make it more hermetic, and the families of ours can come here easily, we are losing the links with Poland as well, a lot, cultural freedom, I think. So yeah, I don't know, but the only thing we can do is just do what we are doing and carry on and see. Let's say I'm not going to hold on like this to the country if it's going to push me, if the freedom and openness is going to change and there is more and more allowance for the lack of tolerance, and people start shouting, pupils go home on the streets to me, I'm going to go home, yeah. But I don't like to be in a country which is not welcoming me, but it's not happening yet, so that's fine.
It seems that there's still lots of things to do for you, for the people like you, and so on. So give inspiration for another work.
Yeah, I think there is always lots of things to do, I think the whole third sector has lots of things to do, and there's not enough of people to do it, basically, and so on. So, but yes, I think for me the future is bright. There's always a project on the somewhere there, but it's sad that what happened.